Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpattyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. समस्तजन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Hari Om, salutations to all. So in the fifth canto, 19th chapter, we had seen the description of Jambudvipa and then the 7 varshas of Jambudvipa, and each varsha how the deities are, specific deities are being worshipped. Those mantras we saw. Then we also saw the glory of Bharat Varsha. Now, the chariot of Priyavrat Raja had created 7 dwipas. One of them is the smallest dwipa is Jambudvipa. There are 6 other dwipas which were created. Now, this portion will look to us very, like even Jambudvipa was not easy to understand. So, this portion is talking about Bhumandala. It's not only earth. This plane it is talking about, because it will talk about sun also, moon also. So this physical plane, this realm it is talking about. And certain things we may not be able to literally comprehend it physically. This may be subtler realms, this may be in some different yuga, possibilities are so many. Some things may be applicable in this creation when we are here. Some things may not be applicable. So the purpose of all this is what? If you remember, there are 10 characteristics of a Mahapuran. The Mahapuran will deal with 10 topics. So Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Utayaha, Poshanam, like that there are 10 topics. In that, the third chapter of third canto of Bhagavatam deals with Sarga, fourth canto deals with Visarga, fifth canto is this that deals with Sthanam, meaning the whole Srishti is in what? What is supporting the whole Srishti is Bhagavan. So all this which is described, the point is not to be lost in the descriptions and which Dvipa is where and what is the ocean surrounding this Dvipa, what is the size of the Dvipa, and try to match it to today's scenario. The idea is to understand that entire Srishti at any point in time, the substratum of it is the Supreme Consciousness, is Bhagavan. And so the idea also is that this whole thing is an appearance, substratum is the truth. Superimposition is always illusory, substratum only is the truth. The rope is always the truth, snake is illusory. Snake is the superimposition, rope is the substratum. Waker is the truth, dream, world is an illusion, that is a superimposition. So that's the main purpose. So now this 20th chapter of this 5th canto will describe the other 6 islands of Bhumandala. So what are they? See, apart from Jambudvipa, so we have the other 6, which are this Lakshadvipa, Shalmali-dvipa, Kushadvipa, Kraunchadvipa, Shakadvipa, Pushkaradvipa. 6. Now, some uniformity you will see here in terms of the description that comes of all the 7 dvipas. Certain things are common. So once we understand that, then the rest of the things about all the 6 dvipas, they will remain the same. Meaning the same descriptions will come. So one is that every dvipa, what is the size of that dvipa? The same size is because it's an island, it's a Dvipa, it is covered on all sides with a particular material of the same size. So, for example, when we say this Jambudvipa, so this, 1 minute. So this Jambudvipa, one will find that it is 8 lakh miles. So this 8 lakh miles, it is surrounded by ocean of salt water, which is also 8 lakh miles. Double of that, 16 lakh miles, is Plakshadvipa. Now that Plakshadvipa is surrounded by sugarcane juice, which is also 16 lakh miles. Like that, every Dvipa, the preceding Dvipa, whatever is the size, double of that is the next Dvipa. And whatever is the size of the Dvipa, the ocean surrounding it is of that same size. So that is one feature. And so you will find here that this Jambudvipa 8 lakh miles, and the water surrounding it is salt water 8 lakh miles. Then Plakshadvipa 16 lakh miles, sugarcane juice around it 16 lakh miles. Then Shalmali Dvipa is 32 lakh miles. There's an ocean of liquor, wine around it. Then there's Kushadvipa, 64 lakh miles. There's an ocean of clarified butter. Again, 64 lakh miles of ocean of clarified butter. Then Kraunchadvipa is 1 lakh 28,000 miles. Surrounded by milk, ocean of milk, 1 lakh 28,000 miles. Sorry, what is that? 64 lakh. So whatever that, 68 lakh, 16 lakh, 32 lakh, 64 lakh, 128 lakh, sorry, not 1 lakh 28, 128 lakh miles. So 128 lakh miles is the ocean of milk. Then 256 lakh miles is Shakadvipa, and it is emulsified yogurt around. And Pushkara Dvipa is 512 lakh miles, and there is sweet drinking water, again 512 lakh miles. Now this is one description that is given of the location, geography. Bhumandala mein this is Jambudvipa. People think Jambudvipa means Asia. And then people think that all this Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, Shalmali Dvipa, Kushadvipa, Kraunchadvipa, Shakadvipa, Pushkaradvipa, this is on the earth, the other 6 continents. It is not like that. Somewhere we try to fix the scripture and put it, try to twist the scriptural description and fix it as per our today's understanding of 7 continents in the world. But we saw Jambudvipa itself is having 7 divisions. Ketumala Varsha, Hiranyamaya Varsha, Ramyak Varsha, all that which we saw. Now, each of these other 6 Varshas also have 7 divisions except the last one. The last one has 2. But you see this. So we will come to that one by one. So one feature is that every Dvipa, whatever size it is surrounded by a material which is the ocean of the same size. Then there is a special tree or a plant or a mountain that characterizes each Dvipa. Now that Dvipa gets the name by that, like Jambudvipa is the name because of the Jambu tree. Huge one Jambu tree will be there in between. So that's why it is called a Jambudvipa. So that way, this Plakshadvipa also is like that. The next one. So this Plakshadvipa also has this. So the Jambudvipa is a rose apple tree. Now this Plakshadvipa, that also has a tree of Plaksha. Plaksha tree, same dimension as the Jambu tree, huge one. And at the foot of it is the Agni Devta with 7 tongues. See the 7 flames today we see, na? Fire has 7 levels. Today we understand that. Scientifically also they proved. Upanishads also speak about Agni as having 7. If you see in Mundaka Upanishad, the description comes Kali, Karali, Shamano, Javacha, like that. One whole mantra is there which tells about 7 flames of fire. And today we know that how the fire, on the top is the invisible part, but which is the most hot part is that on the top. And there's yellow, then there's blue, there's black, like the different levels of fire. Some 7 levels are there. Like that, it says symbolically here that fire, Agni Devta with 7 tongues, is at the base of that Plaksha tree. So this each one will have one specific thing there. Then, so you have Plaksha tree, which is in the Plaksha Dvipa, and the inhabitants of that particular Dvipa will pray to a particular deity. So that Plaksha Dvipa, they worship Surya Devta. The inhabitants of this Plaksha Dvipa, so who are they? So Plaksha Dvipa also is divided into 7 islands. Now please remember, Priyavrata's children, they are Agnidhra, Idmajihva, Yagnabahu, Hiranyareta, Kritaprishta, Medhatithi and Vitihotra. They are the rulers of each of these 7 islands, main 7 islands, Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, Shalmalidvipa, Kraunchadvipa, Kushadvipa, and Pushkaradvipa, Shakadvipa, all these. One sun is ruling one Dvipa. Each of them further divide their Dvipa into 7. So Agnidra's children, Nabhi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrata, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashva and Ketumala. So they divided into 9. He divided into 9 Dvipas. Jambudvipa divided into 9. And all these 9 we saw who are the inhabitants, which deity they worship, etc. Now second Dvipa is Plakshadvipa. So Plakshadvipa, the ruler was Idmajihva, and he divided into 7 islands and named it after their sons, after his sons. So Shiva, Yavasab, Subhadra, Shanta, Kshema, Amrita and Abhaya. So the 7 islands were created. 7 mountains are there. So 7 parts we can say, not only islands, there are 7 parts. Then there are 7 mountains, 7 rivers. All that description comes in this chapter. Go on reading that. Manikuta, Vajrakuta, Indrasena, Jyotishman, Suparna, Hiranyashtiva and Meghamala. These are all 7 mountains. Then 7 rivers. Aruna, Nirmna, Angirasi, Savitri, Suptabhata, Ritambhara and Satyambhara. And the 4 types of people, so 4 categories of people, Hamsas, Patangas, Urdhvayanas and Satyangas. These are 4 types of people in Plakshadvipa. And they worship Surya. So what is the prayer to Surya that they sing? Let us take shelter of the Surya, who is a reflection of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, The oldest of all people, meaning Purusha. Purana Purusha is there translated as oldest of all people, meaning the most ancient one. Then Vishnu is the only worshipable Lord. He is the Veda, he is the religion, he is the origin of all auspicious and inauspicious results. So that. So Plakshadishu Panchasu Purushanam Ayurindriyam Ojas Sahobalam Buddhir Vikrama iticha Sarvesham Outpattiki Siddhir Visheshena Vartate. And the people of this place have long life. They live for thousands of years. So they say here that they long life, soundness, potency of the indriyas, the senses of perception and organs of action have very powerful. They have strength of mind, bodily vigor, intellectual acumen, bravery, are natural endowments of all people without distinction in all the Dvipas. That is at least one common thing. Otherwise, everywhere else you have each Dvipa is having so many. So one listens to this. As I said, don't forget the bhav. The bhav is all this is, the creation is vast. You and I are insignificant if we identify with the body. All this is there in Bhagwan. And all varieties are there in creation. What all subtle things are there which our buddhi can't even comprehend, understand. And this small little buddhi of ours then wants to deny God and thinks of itself as very intelligent and scientific. All this is to make us humble, make us surrender to Bhagwan. Not that we should not seek knowledge or we should not gain knowledge. But how much ever we know will be minuscule of what is there in the Srishti. It is Ananta. Srishti is Ananta and it is appearance of Ananta only. And the more we focus on our surrender and dropping the ego, the more we come to realize that Ananta Swarup of ours. And so, in this description, one should not forget all the main essence. So, this was Plakshadvipa. Like that, now Shalmali Dvipa. So, Shalmali Dvipa, the ruler is Yajnabahu, and he has 7 sons. So, Surochana, Saumanasya, Ramanaka, Devavarsha, Paribhadra, Apyayana, and Avijnata. And this Shalmali Varsha has 7 mountains. Swarasa, Shatashringa, Vamadeva, Kunda, Mukunda, Pushpavarsha, and Sahasrashruti. 7 rivers, Anumati, Sinivali, Saraswati, Kuhu, Rajani, Nanda, and Raka. 4 types of beings there are. These are 4 varnas actually, 4 classes of beings, of people. Shrutidharas, Viryadharas, Vasundharas, and Ishandharas. And what is the main thing there? Like there is a tree in Jambudvipa, tree in Plakshadvipa, like that there is a Shalmali tree, as broad and tall as the Plaksha tree, which is the residence of Garuda, the king of birds who chants prayers. So earlier is this Agni, here is Garuda. Then whom is the prayer being offered to the inhabitants worship? Soma. Soma is moon. So by his own race, the moon god has divided the month into 2 fortnights for distribution of food grains to the Pitrus and to the demigods. So Krishna Paksha, Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. May that moon, the king of all the citizens and of us, be favorable to us. This is Shalmali Dvipa. So 3 Dvipas over. 4th Dvipa is Kushadvipa. So this Kushadvipa, Hiranyareta is the ruler, son of Priyavrata. And then his sons are Vasu, Vasudana, Dridharuchi, Stutyavrata, Nabhigupta, Vivikta, and Vamadeva. So he has also divided this into his sons, 7 of them. And there are 7 mountains also. Chakra, Chatushringa, Kapila, Chitrakuta, Devanika, Urdhva, Roma, and Dravina. 7 rivers, Ramyakulya, Madhukulya, Mitravrinda, Shrutavinda, Devagarbha, Ghritachuta, and Mantramala. 4 types of beings, people are Kushalas, Kovidas, Abhiyuktas, Kulakas. Then Kushadvipa has clumps of Kusha grass. That's why Kushadvipa. Kusha grass, we use for also making the asan. Chailajina Kushottaram, Bhagavan says in the Gita. So that Kusha grass may be used in rituals also. So which was created by the demigods by the will of the Supreme Lord, appear like a second form of fire, but with very mild and pleasing flames. Its young shoots illuminate all the directions. And they worship Agni. The people here worship Agni. O fire god, you are a part of the Supreme Lord Hari and you carry to him all the offerings of sacrifices. Therefore, we request you to offer to the Lord the yagnic ingredients we are offering to the demigods. So, whatever yajna is done, we offer that to Bhagavan through Agni. Agni is the carrier. So, they pray to Agni that way. Then, Krauncha Dvipa. The ruler of Krauncha Dvipa is Hritaprishta, and his 7 sons are Ama, Madhuruha, Meghaprishta, Sudhama, Bhrajishtha, Lohitarna, and Vanaspati. Krauncha Dvipa 7 mountains are Shukla, Vardhamana, Bhojana, Upabarhina, Nanda, Nandana, and Sarvatobhadra. 7 rivers are Abhaya, Amritaugha, Aryaka, Tirthavati, Rupavati, Pavitravati, and Shukla. And 4 types of people are Purushas, Rishabhas, Dravinas, Devakas. Now this Krauncha Dvipa is the Krauncha mountain. So Krauncha mountain, although vegetables on it were attacked by the weapons of Kartikeya, it has become fearless because it is always bathed on all sides by the ocean of milk and protected by Varuna. So Krauncha Dvipa, as we know, is surrounded by milk. So there is a Krauncha mountain. Then whom are they worshipping? Varuna Devata. So, O water, you have obtained energy from the Supreme Lord, therefore you purify the 3 worlds. By your constitutional nature, you take away sins, and that is why we are touching you. Kindly continue to purify us. Krauncha Dvipa. Then we have Shakadvipa. Shakadvipa, the ruler is Medhatithi. The 7 sons are Purojava, Manojava, Pavamana, Dhumranika, then Chitrarefa, Bahurupa, and Vishwadhara. 7 mountains of the Shakadvipa are Ishana, Urushringa, Balabhadra, Shatakesara, Sahasrasrota, Devapala, and Mahanasa. 7 rivers are Anagha, Ayurda, Ubhayasprishti, Aparajita, Panchapadi, Sahasrashruti, and Nijadhriti. 4 types of people are Ritavrata, Satyavrata, Danavrata, Anuvrata. So Shakadvipa, the Shaka tree, which is very fragrant and lends its scent to the entire island. They worship Vayu. So may the Antaryami, the Supreme Person, the controller of the cosmic manifestation, protect us from all dangers. He directs the various actions of the different airs, such as prana. And last Dvipa is Pushkara Dvipa. So this Pushkara Dvipa is ruled by Vitihotra and then his sons, Ramanaka and Dhataki. He has only 2 sons. He gives that Pushkara Dvipa. The biggest Dvipa is Pushkara Dvipa. 512 lakh miles. Between 2 people only. All the others are of course big. 256 lakh miles between 7 of them. 128 lakh miles between 7 of them. Like that. But this biggest one is between 2 because he had only 2 sons. Now, interesting point also is this. I'll come to that. So let me finish this. Pushkara Dvipa. So Vitihotra is the ruler here, and the island does not have mountain, does not have the 7 mountains, 7 rivers, and 4 types of people. Then what is there? There is a great flower with 100 million pure golden petals, as effulgent as the flames of fire. That lotus flower is considered the sitting place of Lord Brahma. And they worship Brahmaji here. The inhabitants of that place, they are not divided into 4 varnas and all that. Whoever is staying there, they worship Brahmaji. We offer our respects unto Lord Brahma, the form of manifest Vedic knowledge, the form of ritualistic ceremonies, who is devoted to the Supreme Lord and who is not different from the Lord. So this is Pushkara Dvipa. Now, what is the interesting point here? All the 7 children of Priyavrat Raja. So Priyavrat Raja, if you remember, Swayambhu Manu's 2 children, means 2 sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrata. So Uttanapad's son was Dhruva, and we saw whole Dhruva Charitra and all that in the 4th canto. Then Priyavrat Raja's Charitra we are seeing. In that Priyavrat Raja, he marries Barhishmati, and then all these sons are born. Agnidra and Idmajihva and Yagnabahu, Hiranyareta, Ghritaprishta, Medhatithi, and this Vitihotra. These are all children of, and Urjaswati was the daughter, and that Urjaswati was married to Shukracharya, and Devayani was born through Shukracharya and Urjaswati. Now Priyavrat Raja, he did not want to produce children, and he did not want to go the worldly way. He was in the ashram of Naradji, and he was meditating there, and he was remembering Bhagwan. But Swayambhu Manu said, you please take the creation forward, and so he didn't accept at that point in time. Then Brahmaji himself came, gave him all the knowledge, saying that if you control your senses, you live with detachment, then you will not be affected by household life. And everybody has to follow the will of Bhagwan. Bhagwan's will is that you should take the creation forward. So he agreed. And with Barhishmati he married, but he got attached to Barhishmati. And he had all these sons, and he divided the whole earth based on his speed. He traveled as fast as the sun so that there is no night for him. And in that process, he created the 7 islands in the Bhumandala. Jambudvipa, Plakshadvipa, Shalmali-dvipa, all these. Now that Priyavrat Raja, after he did all this, he said, where did I get stuck into all this now? I got attached to my wife, and I did so much of karma, and in that process I have forgotten Bhagwan, and exclusive time that I used to sit and think of Bhagwan, all that is not there now. Unnecessarily I fell into this. So he renounced all, his wife, children, everyone, went again to the ashram of Naradji and started meditating there. So when the father went there, then all of them, Agnidra, Idmajihva, all of them, they take charge of each Dvipa, because father is already allotted to them. Now they divide their Dvipa further, and this is what we saw right now. They also, after this, they go. They say, done, we have done our duty. They also renounce. And they go and sit and they remember Bhagwan. Now the other people, other children are ruling. Their children are ruling these Dvipas. So the point to understand is, each one contributes something to the creation. Having done their duty, they again go back to remember Bhagwan. In our culture, when we say Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, that Grahastha ashram is for a certain period of time only. And after that, either you be a Grihi Vanaprasthi or you be an Ashrami Vanaprasthi. Grihi Vanaprasthi is staying in the house only and doing more contemplation on Bhagwan and withdrawing from worldly activities and duties and socializing and all that. Ashrami Vanaprasthi literally leaves the house and goes and stays in a forest, builds an ashram or stays somewhere in an ashram, not in touch with the daily duties and daily family affairs and socializing and all that. What is the point? Point is our life here is not meant for whole time work, 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 work. We have duties, we do our work, we hand over few things at a certain stage to the children, to the next generation, and depart. If can't depart, then stay where you are and meditate on Bhagwan, spend more time in turning within. Because the true fact is only that much. Bhagwan is real, everything else is illusory. So even these big people with such huge land, and imagine this Viti Hotra, he has only two sons. And this Viti Hotra is ruling the biggest Dvipa, Pushkara Dvipa. And Brahmaji is there in that Dvipa. And they worship Brahmaji. And he doesn't have any, attachment to power. Like, how can I leave all this? One small house we are not able to leave. What will happen to me without me? Nothing will happen. It will all go on. Idea is not to escape from duty, but this feeling that without me this won't happen is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Without us also Srishti has gone on. Without us also the Srishti will continue to go on. Even right now with us, what we can contribute as Bhagwan's nimitta, we should do that much only. Beyond that, what? If we think that without us nothing will happen, big delusion that is. And when the delusion breaks, then our heart breaks. Oh, without me also they did it. They will do. Maybe in a certain way they may not be able to do. They will do in their own way. How does it matter? We want our self-importance and our ego says, if I was there, it would have happened like this, not like this. That also is ego only. Unnecessary. However it happens, if this is not up to the mark, Bhagwan will do something to bring it up to the mark. He will teach through somebody else. But things will go on. Some things will not continue. Some things new will happen. Srishti is like that, parivartanshil. In that, what do I have to do? Come to realize oneness with Bhagwan. How much can one hold on to the world? These all people live for a very long time. Thousands of years is their life. And still at the end of it, they say, bas, ho gaya. Hand it over, depart. So all these 7 children of Priyavrata also did what the father did. At the right time, they handed over everything to their sons. Bye-bye, going. Went, sat quietly somewhere, lived on bhiksha, meditated, came to know the truth. That's the purpose. And so, this description is given of the 7 dwipas. Then, in the middle of this Pushkara Dvipa, because it was, see, everywhere there is one thing, na? Plaksha Dvipa has Plaksha tree, Jambudvipa, Jambu tree, Shalmali Dvipa, Shalmali tree, Kusha grass in the Kusha Dvipa, Krauncha mountain, and then this great flower, Pushkara. Now, in this Pushkara Dvipa, in the middle of the Pushkara Dvipa, as a boundary between the inner and the outer parts of that island, what is there? There is this Manasottara mountain. So this Manasottara mountain which is there, and it is said here that on this mountain, it is 80,000 miles long. On this mountain stand built in the 4 quarters, the 4 cities of Indra and 3 other guardians of the world, Yama, Varuna and Soma. And over it revolves the other wheel. Over the mountain revolves the wheel, which is Surya, in the form of a year of the sun god's chariot, going round the Mount Meru in the space of a day and a night of the gods, which is what we say Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. 6 months of northern solstice, 6 months of southern solstice. And so that is 1 day of Devatas. 1 day meaning 1 day of Devata 6 months, 1 night 6 months. So our 1 year is equal to 1 day in Devaloka, Pitruloka, all these lokas. And that's why when we do Shraddha Paksha in that portion, in that after the Ananta Chaturdashi, the Shraddha Paksha that comes, when we do the Tarpan, Shraddha, Dan, whatever we do, for us it is 1 year, for Pitrus it is only 1 day. So we do for some 10 years, 13 years, 16 years, like that. It's only that many days for them. And by the time we hope that they get their next body, and even if they have got earlier, whatever we offer will reach them. So the point is, time is very relative. Which modern science will say that time is relative, and if you travel at the speed of light, time will stop and all that. That is a scientific language. This is a spiritual language where it is said that sun goes around in the chariot, and the 6 months of this northern solstice, 6 months of southern solstice, this forms 1 day of the devatas. So that's what he says. So this Vitihotra, he took to the worship of the Lord like his elder brothers. Now here it is said that those 4 nagaris which were there, which are of Indra, 4 cities of Indra. So which are those? In east it is Devadhani, abode of Indra. In the south it is Samyamani, the abode of Yamaraj. In the west it is Nimlochani, the abode of Varuna. And north it is Vibhavari, the abode of the moon. And so it is said the wheel of the chariot of sun god goes around Mount Sumeru in 1 year and travels on top of Manasottara mountain. So Uttarayan 6 months, Dakshinayan 6 months are called the day and night of the Devatas. Now the distance from the center of Mount Sumeru in Jambudvipa to the middle point of this, what you call, Manasottara mountain, huge distance it is. Some many lakhs of miles it is. Now Shukdev ji, what does he do? Beyond the 7 Dvipas, Bhumandala still exists. So we thought that okay, 7 Dvipas done. Array, Bhumandala is existing beyond 7 Dvipa also. So he says that the Loca-loca mountain surrounds the area beyond the ocean of sweet water. Lakshadvipa is surrounded by sweet water. Beyond that sweet water, which is Lakshadvipa is 512 lakh miles, then surrounded by sweet water 512 lakh miles. Beyond that is this Loca-loca mountain. So it is said surrounds the area beyond the ocean of sweet water and divides the countries that are full of sunlight from those not lit by the sun. The Golden Land is a tract of land between the ocean of sweet water and Loca-loca mountain. It is as broad as the area between the middle of Mount Sumeru and the middle of Manasottara mountain. 15.75 million yojanas, miles. 1 yojana is 8 miles. Like that you calculate now, a big number it is. Its surface is like a mirror and any object dropped there cannot be seen again. Therefore, all living entities have abandoned this place. It stands between the land inhabited by living entities, Loka, and uninhabited land, Aloka. Separates them. Thus, it is celebrated as Loca-loca mountain. Must be something like a black hole where everything is sucked inside and then gets destroyed because of high speed inside. Even light gets sucked and absorbed and gone. It can't come out. Then what to talk about other things? So something like that it must be. We are just guessing. This may be something else also. Then height, what is the height of this mountain? So it is said it extends up to the end of the three worlds, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, in height and in all the eight directions. Thus, by the Lord's supreme will, it functions as the outer border of the three worlds. The rays of the sun, stars, and other luminaries spread throughout the three worlds but cannot spread beyond the boundaries of Loca-loca. Now, having said this, the diameter of the universe is 500 million yojanas. The distance from mountain Sumeru to the end of Loca-loca is 1/4 of this. The width of the ring-shaped uninhabited land is 125 million yojanas. Like that, one description is given. Lord Brahma, the supreme spiritual master of the entire universe, established 4 elephants, Rishabha, Pushkarachuda, Vamana, and Aparajita, in 4 directions. They are responsible for supporting the whole universe. How do these elephants support the universe? So it is said the Supreme Lord, surrounded by his associates such as Vishwaksena and in exhibiting all his opulences, remains on Loca-loca mountain until the end of the Kalpa, Brahmaji's one day. By his presence, he increases the power of those elephants who are protectors of the planets and his own expansions. He does this to benefit all people and to maintain worldly affairs. He created his Yoga Maya. So, Loca-loca Varsha, beyond Loca-loca mountain. So Loca-loca mountain is the boundary of 3 worlds. Beyond that also there is another Varsha, land, that is called Aloka Varsha. So the width of land outside the Loca-loca mountain range is the same as the distance from Meru to the far edge of Loca-loca mountain, meaning exactly the same distance from Jambudvipa up to the boundary of the 3 worlds. That much distance is Aloka Varsha. Beyond Aloka Varsha is the destination of those who aspire for liberation from this world, which is beyond the control of the modes and completely pure. So this is those who attain Jivan Mukti, who could not attain Jivan Mukti while living here on Bharatavarsha on this earth, but they don't have any vasanas to come back. Then they may go to this Aloka Varsha and they stay there. And because it is said here, beyond the gunas of Prakriti and completely pure. So now this much description has been given of this area of this Bhumandala. And now what is said, sun is in the middle. Sun is situated vertically in the area between Bhur-loka and Bhuvar-loka. The distance between the sun and the circumference of the universe is 250 million yojanas, vertically above and below. And different names of Surya are given. Vairaja, the total material body of all the living creatures. Martanda, who entered the dull egg of the universe. Hiranyagarbha, he received his material body from Hiranyagarbha, which is Brahmaji. So the sun allows the divisions to be seen among the sky, the higher planets, the middle planets, the lower planets. By it, one can know which are the places for enjoyment, liberation, and hell. And because of the sun's presence, all living entities can see, and therefore he is called Drig Ishvara. Thus, he is the eye and the life of all the beings, of devatas, animals, humans, reptiles, and plants. That's why sun is the word given here for that is Atma Drig Ishvaraha. Sarva Jiva Nikayanam Surya Atma Drigeshwaraha. So Drigeshwara. So now this chapter 20 ends here. See the different names of Surya. So the next chapter will come, which will explain about the movements of the sun. Now, again, as I'm saying, this whole description of so many varshas surrounded by different types of oceans, and then the mountain, Loca-loca mountain, and then beyond that, Aloka Varsha, that all is one Bhumandala level description. In that, there is a combination also Bhuvarloka, Bhuloka, Suvarloka. So, this portion can be a little confusing. I have not read much description given by anybody in the few commentaries that I have read, Akhandanandji and Dongre Maharaj and even Guruji's commentary. Nothing much is given about this. They have stated, some of them have stated this as it is. Now, whether it's physically there today, it is in some other yuga or some portion of it is there, no idea. But as I said, our main point is what? Our main point is to understand that the sthanam, the one substratum of the entire creation is Bhagavan. And the last point he said that no, the elephants, how do the elephants support? By the power of Bhagavan. So Sukadevji then he concludes that chapter, 20th chapter over. Now 21st chapter. So he says that I have described to you Bhumandala with its dimensions and the general characteristics. And he has described the people, the deities worshipped, and what is the speciality of that place, what is the ocean covering it, all that he has described. Now, what is the purpose? So he says, by referring to this, the knowers of the subject describe the extent of the heavenly sphere as well, even as by referring to the two halves of peace. If you take a pea or a, let us say, some matter, you cut it into two halves. So he says, and any other pulses, if you make them into two halves, like that, between the two, heaven and earth, intervenes the sky. So Bhu and Suvarloka. Between that is Bhuvarloka. So as though it is, the two halves once you create. So one half is down, one half is up. In between is the place. No, suppose you separate the two halves like that. So one half of it, which is down, that is the Bhumandala, which is what was described till now. Full. All the seven, whatever the islands and oceans and all that is only one half, bottom half as though. Then in between is the Bhuvarloka. Then comes the Suvarloka. So it is a physical description actually. But we don't see that today, the sugarcane, what you call, ocean, liquor ocean, clarified butter ocean, all that we don't see today. Must be in certain form, in some level of creation, it may have been there. So he describes this. Between the two intervenes the sky. And placed at the center of the sky, the glorious sun, the lord of the luminaries, warms its heat and illuminates by its light the three worlds. And that's why we say the Surya is, when we add in the Gayatri Mantra, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. So if you imagine Bhuloka, then interspace, then Suvarloka. So this is one half of the P, Suvarloka as though the other half of the P. In between is the space, and sun shines there, illumining all the three. So that's what he says here, that's why upper planetary and lower planetary was said, meaning higher worlds, lower worlds. So now in that analogy, if you cut it into equal half, then how the lower half will be, similarly the upper half will also be there, no? Because it's cut from the center. Like that it is said, Bhumandala is physical and visible, and looking at that Bhumandala, and that Bhumandala is supported by Garbhodaka ocean. So that looking at this Bhumandala, one assumes that similar will be the other half which is on top, which is a Swarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka and all that. And so that's why he says that the dimensions of Bhumandala, the surface of the lower half of the universe, indicate the dimension of the upper half of the universe. The sky between the lower and upper halves is called the Antariksha or the Bhuvarloka or outer space. Now the sun is situated in the middle of the Antariksha. It is the hottest of all planets, and it by radiation, and by its radiation it heats up and lights the three worlds. So that's what he says. Warms by its heat and illuminates by its light the three worlds. Now, coursing by slow, swift and regulated marches known by the names of Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, and the Vaisuvata, the march across the and rising higher in the heavens, going down and taking lengthens the day while shortening the nights, and vice versa during all this Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. When the sun traverses the signs of Mesha, Aries, and Tula, Libra, the days and nights are more or less equal. When it traverses the five signs of Rishabha, Taurus, onwards, so Rishabha, Mithuna, Karkata, Simha, and Kanya, or Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, the days become longer and longer only, while the nights become shorter on an average by nearly half an hour. Nearly half an hour. So it is given 24 minutes every month. When, however, the sun traverses the five signs from Vrishchika onwards, that is Vrishchika, Dhanush, Makara, Kumbha, Meena, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricornus, Aquarius, and Pisces, the day becomes shorter and nights proportionately longer. So the days grow in length till the sun takes to the southward course, and the nights become longer and longer till it takes a northward turn. See, this entire description is given here. One point to understand here is it's not that our ancient masters did not know about the sun. And people think that, oh, what kind of mythology? They didn't know about eclipses. They knew everything about eclipses also. Symbolically, they have said that Rahu eats it up, and sun is consumed by Rahu, and then he escapes because Rahu doesn't have a body, he has only the neck. All that is a Puranic description. But this actual description of the Surya and the movement of Surya is very clearly given, which means that they had some inclination and clarity about how the sun moves, how earth is round, and how this Bhumandala is one plane of consciousness. The subtler planes of consciousness are above, and the sun is that which is illumining all the three, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, and Suvaha, all that. Now, they say that the learned declare the distance covered by the revolution of the sun on the top of the Manasottara mountain as described heretofore to be 9 crore and 51 lakh yojanas, or 70 crore and 8 lakh miles. By adding together the half the diameter 50,000 yojanas of Jambudvipa, which lies at the center of the lotus-like terrestrial globe. So how they have arrived at, they have given this whole thing. So the distance covered by the revolution of the sun also they have given. So actually, if you know, the sun is also moving fast. Earth is also moving around the sun. The planet, all the planets are moving around the sun. The sun also is moving in the universe, doing a round of this Milky Way galaxy. So it's all moving. Just a minute. So the sun moves all over the sides. So in our science textbooks, what is taught to us? Sun is in the center, only the planets are revolving, as though sun is not moving. The sun is also moving, planets also are moving around it, sun is also moving around. It's going on like that. So here a similar description is given, may not exactly match what today's science and the distances which are there, but to some extent they have given description here. So the sun travels over all the sides of Manasottara mountain in a circle, and that we saw now the distance is 9 crore and 51 lakh yojanas, or 76 crore and 8 lakh miles. So on top of Manasottara mountain are the residences of 4 demigods in the 4 directions that we already saw: east, south, west and north, the cities of Indra. Then it is said, sunrise, midday, sunset and midnight occur in all these places in succession, thus engaging and disengaging people in work. So sunrise, sunset, midday and midnight are in the different places. When the sun is east of Mount Meru, then those who reside south of Sumeru perceive sunrise. Those west midnight, those east midday and those north, they experience sunset. So like that it will keep changing. When it shines at noon, it is midnight at the city, diametrically opposite. So the people of Mount Sumeru experience midday always. You know, if you go to the poles, you will experience. Huh? We are in the equator. You go to the poles, it will be like this. Something similar is here. The people of Mount Sumeru experience midday always, although the sun moves anti-clockwise relative to the constellation with Mount Meru to its left. It also moves clockwise, being influenced by the Dakshinavarta wind. The sun rises in one city while it sets at the city diametrically opposite. When it shines at noon, it is midnight at the city diametrically opposite. When the sun travels from Devadhani to Samyamani, those 4 cities, one of those, from this to that it travels, then they have given the time for it. What is the time for it? 1 minute. 15 ghatikas. So it is said here, it travels 1/4 of its orbit in 15 ghatikas or 6 hours. So the sun travels through the demigod residences from Sanyamani, Nimlochani, Vibhavari to Devadhani. Moon, stars and planets similarly rise and set in this way. The description of the chariot of Surya Devata also is given. This whole chapter is only about Surya and its movement, 21st chapter. So the chariot of the sun god worshipped by the Gayatri mantra travels through the above 4 residences at the speed of 34 lakh 800 yojanas in a muhurta, 48 minutes. The chariot of sun god travels on a wheel known as Samvatsara. This wheel has 12 spokes, 12 months, 6 rims, 6 seasons, and 3 hubs, 3 Chaturmasya periods. The chariot of sun god has only one wheel. One side of its axle rests upon the summit of Mount Meru and the other side rests upon Manasottara mountain. So, and the other is Manasottara. Affixed to the outer end of the axle, the wheel continuously rotates on Manasottara mountain like the wheel of an oil pressing machine. So you know that oil pressing machine which is there, one thing is in the center and the rest will move around like this. So that's what is the description here. The second axle is attached to Loca-loca. Its length is 3.94 million yojanas or 1/4 of the first axle. Its upper end is attached to Loca-loca. and its lower end is bound to the first axle exactly opposite to the saltwater ocean. We all a lot of technical description of the sun and the description of where it is and how it moves and what is the chariot. The point is, although Arunadeva sits in front of the sun god and is engaged in driving the chariot and controlling the horses, he looks backwards towards the sun god. The sun god directs where to go and all that. So the chariot's horses are named after the seven horses. So there are 7 meters. So Gayatri, Pankti, Ushnik, Brihati, Jagati, like that, 7 meters. They are the 7 horses of sun god. They are harnessed by Arunadeva to yoke, and then the chariot moves. If you see in Konark, no, this given through that whole wheel of Konark, different spokes, and in between, in the center. So if you put your finger, then the whole division of Uttarayan, Dakshinayan, and then which month and which Paksha and which Tithi and what time will come exactly. If you just put the finger as per the sun's whatever the placement is, the shadow will indicate. If you know how to calculate, you can come to exact time measurement just based on that. So a lot of these intricate things are given here in this particular chapter. 60,000 sages named Valakilyas, each the size of a thumb, stay in front of the sun god and offer him eloquent prayers of glorification. Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, demigods form into groups of 2, 7, or 14, and assuming different names each month continuously perform rituals to worship Suryadev, who has many names. And so this is the chapter which is glorifying Bhagwan Surya, who illumines all the 3 worlds, and that also is Narayana only. So Surya also, as it was said, is Narayana. Bhagwan sustains this world not only as the substratum but as all the elements. And so Surya, Agni, Vayu, Prithvi, Jala, Akash, all of that. And so he concludes this chapter by saying that it has been already pointed out that the circumference of the terrestrial globe at the belt of Manasottara mountain, situated in the heart of the outermost Dvipa, the Pushkara Dvipa, is 9 crore 51 lakh yojanas. Out of this, sun covers a distance of 2002 yojanas in a moment. In one moment. That's the speed of the sun. Now, if somebody wants to do the calculation as to what is the speed of the sun today and what is mentioned here and is it matching, that one can do. So these 2 chapters, 20, 21, they described about the various dwipas and then the sun. And now what is the relative position of various other planets in relation to the sun? All that will come now. So this portion of another 2 chapters more will give all this description of different aspects of the creation. So we will do that little quickly, and then we will come to one portion which is what is below. So what are the, so one is Bhumandala. So Loca is described. Now what is below? All the types of hell, they will be described. Then the higher worlds also will come. So that way the whole Srishti, and if you see in the grand picture of things, why it is important to know? Because based on our karma, we go up and down as a jiva, enjoying certain punya karmas in higher planes, going through some negative karmas in the lower planes. And the more we come to understand that very clearly, that karma will bring karma phala, better to do karma which will help us to realize the truth rather than go up and down in this cycle of creation. That's the main essence. So for today we will stop here. Any questions? Right.
Swamiji,
Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji. No, just out of curiosity, why 7 and 4? See, in the number, 7 suns, and there were 4 different types. So, in each sort of sphere that you described, the number 7. I mean, is there any significance, or it's just anything?
No, I don't think any specific significance that I'm not aware of.
Mhm.
Because in the last one, there's only 2 and there are no mountains and rivers mentioned.
Correct. Okay.
So, and the earlier one, 9 Dvipas are
Yes,
there.
9. Correct. So that's why. But
So, pata nahi.
okay. No, just out of curiosity, because the 7 kept coming in,
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. I was just wondering. Thank you so much.
मंगल कांति हस दिवस घरे मंगल मंगल सेवा सब संग मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मंगल छवि मंगल मंगल अति कटि प्रिय रे पठि मंगल चितन राम मंगल शोभा मंगल मंगल श्री मंगल चरण मंगल करणी भगवती हरि जन मंगल जुगल प्रिया मंगल श्री राधा मंगल आरती प्रिया मंगल राधा वृद्धिशचंद्र भगवान की जय शत्रुचूर चंद्र तारकम नीमा विद्युतो भांसिकुतो यमग्नि अमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।